Welcome to I&A.
Issues and Answers.
Issues and Answers. And now,
Issues and Answers.
Good morning and welcome to our weekly public affairs program we call Issues and Answers on the Omaha NRG Media radio stations. Today we're talking about a program called Heat the Streets and an event called the Heat the Streets Run that is coming up in Omaha. We're going to find out all about that, all about the organizations that participate and make it possible. Our guests today are Judy Martin, Coordinator of Corporate Marketing and Community Relations for the Omaha Public Power District, and Tammy Green, North Omaha Services Director for Heartland Family Service. Good morning. Welcome to our program.
Good morning.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Let's kick this off right away by talking about, and I'll throw this out to either one of you, Judy or Tammy, what Heat the Streets is as a program, as a concept. What does it mean?
Heat the Streets and Walk for Warmth is an event that we have coming up March 1st. It is now in its 7th year, but there is also a campaign that goes with the program all year that we raise funds for utility assistance in the metropolitan area.
When you say utility assistance in the metropolitan area, it sounds like a pretty basic concept, but can you enlighten me?
Sure. We have 5 agency partners that we work with. Tammy's one of those, and she'll talk on that. And they distribute the funds. Our event is to reach out in the community. The utilities originally started this event 7 years ago, but it is to engage the community along with us. We see the need out there that exists for customers who are needing assistance, and we want to do our part in helping those folks get the assistance they need.
Now, when you say assistance, you're talking about help in meeting the utility costs at their home.
Right. Both their gas and their electric bills in their homes.
And this is why OPPD is involved, and I would assume the gas company participates as well.
MUD, Black Hills Energy, and OPPD.
So all of these entities are coming together, and then Tammy, your agency is involved in determining who gets this assistance, how they qualify.
Absolutely. We work with the clients, or we work with families and neighbors throughout our community to make sure that their utilities stay on. In cold weather like this, obviously, heat is an important thing, and in the hot weather, cooling is a really important thing. And we want to make sure that they don't have to go to safe houses to stay warm, and they don't have to go to cooling houses to stay cool, that we're able to keep that on.
Now, when we talk about particularly heat and utilities expenses in heat, we've seen some particularly cold weather here in recent weeks with a lot of cold temperatures, a lot of wind creating very dangerously cold wind chills. Has there been a substantial need, a significant need for the program and the funding that you folks provide?
Absolutely. Because when it's cold outside and we get below zero, that means that our utility bills start to go up. And for families who are just doing their best to make ends meet, a rise in a utility bill can be a very, very impactful thing for their family and for their income. And that is what Heat the Streets, Run and Walk, and that's what the Run Walk is for, is to make sure that we're raising funds for those families so that they don't lose their utilities when they need it most.
And these are the times when they need it most. It seems like most of us really can't relate to when the temperature is down around zero in a home with a bunch of kids and the fact that you may not be able to provide heat.
Right.
Which is a wonderful reason why we have this event on March 1st, when it is still cold enough out there, so that the people that are joining us, the community, the agencies, the organizations that partner with us, so they can really see the impact that the weather extremes have. And last year we had the event like a day after we had several inches of snow. We never know what the weather's going to be, but we want everybody to come out and join us so they can feel that weather.
All right, let's recap the event now, the Run and the Walk. When is it going to be, and the specifics of how people can become involved?
Sure. The event is on Saturday, March 1st at Midtown Crossing, Turner Park. The run starts at 9. The walk is at 9:30. The registration opens up at 7. We encourage people to go out and register today. I mean, there's many ways that they can participate and support this, but one is by registering to either walk or run. They can go to heatthestreetsomaha.org and register. And they can also, volunteer for the event. They can register on site the day of, but we prefer that they go in and register early. They can pick up their running packets if they're a runner on Friday, the day right before the event at Prairie Life Fitness right there at
In
Midtown
Midtown Crossing.
And then also this year we have on February 22nd, a Saturday at 2 o'clock at Midtown Crossing, there's going to be a run, kind of a preview or a pre-run walkthrough, and our walk coordinator, or our race director, I guess is what we call her, is going to be there to lead that. So the serious runners, we want them there. We heard that from a lot of our folks last year was we want to support the cause. We love it. We also want to get a little fitness out of it too. So.
But for those of us who may not be serious runners, that's where the walk comes in.
Absolutely. It's just a mile around. You walk around the Turner Park. We've been there now 3 years, and you'll see everybody out walking around. And so it's a quick, short event if you're a walker. But afterwards, this year also something new to the event is we're having a post-event kind of rally or ceremony over at the Marcus Cinemas right across the street. Free popcorn, free hot cocoa. We're going to be awarding prizes. There'll be raffle drawings for the people that both ran and walked. And real family-friendly event.
There is an entry fee, and the entry fee is what generates the money.
Right. For the runners, it's $35, and for walkers, it's $25.
So the walkers actually have it a little easier.
They do. And we encourage anyone out there that's interested to bring along a friend, bring along family, to form a team. On our website, there is a whole corporate packet that they can
When
open
you
up.
say on our website, let's give the address.
heatthestreetsomaha.org.
Okay.
And there is, if you want to form a team in your neighborhood or with your church or through your place of employment, they have everything you want to know on how to promote the walk. So that's another way that you can get involved.
The walk and run is going on March 1st, and again, registration early. People, you mentioned volunteers. If people would like to volunteer, what kind of volunteers do you need, and how can they get in touch?
I would go to the website again, the heatthestreetsomaha.org, and there's a contact person on there to get a hold of. She is our event planner and is making all those arrangements. She kind of works real closely with United Way, but we've had people that help spot where to go to. They will walk the route in advance of the event, make sure that all those kind of snowy areas are all nice and clean and safe. We want everybody's safety, and that they will check out the registrations when people check in. And there's many different types of jobs, holding signs, helping hang signage that day. So
You never have enough volunteers.
never have enough.
Our guest today talking about the Heat the Streets Run and Walk for Warmth. Our guest today, Judy Martin, the coordinator of corporate marketing and community relations for Omaha Public Power District. Tammy Green, North Omaha Services Director for Heartland Family Service. How many participants, now you've done this 7 years, I think you maybe get a feel for how many people you can expect to participate.
Yeah, we end up having hundreds. There's been some years that we just did paper registration, and this year and we've been getting more towards the online registration. But we've ranged from 300 to 700, and so we never quite know. That's why we like to get people to register early. As part of our sponsors that we have, they're able to have sponsorships and so many walker registrations as part of their sponsorships. And then our agencies. This year, we're hoping that all 5 of the agencies that are helping to distribute these funds will be there also in force. So we have a little competition amongst everyone. We carry signs promoting our different organizations and things.
Well, you get a pretty good crowd out there.
We do. We
and
really
that
do.
makes it a lot more fun, too.
It does. And we have lots of mascots. And Mrs. Nebraska, and we have our OPPD buddy, this safety saurus, and we have MUD's little sniffy dog, and all kinds of fun things, cheerleaders, and
You make it a pretty good event.
we do. It's
You
a
bet.
family-friendly event.
And all of it is to make sure that there are people in our community who they're able to keep warm in the wintertime when it's cold like this, and to make sure that they don't lose their heat, they don't lose their electricity, especially for a lot of our families who have a crisis that happens in their life, happens that they have to choose between, do I fix the car, do I pay for the medical bills, or do I pay my utility bill? And so that is this walk, this run, that is there to help our neighbors in our community.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Tammy, you work with Heartland Family Service. How do you find people who are in need of the services that you provide in this area? Do they come to you? Do you have an outreach program? What is involved?
Absolutely. There's several different ways that families in our community come to us. A lot of times they'll call United Way 211 helpline. They will also come through Metro Home Base. And then also we have people who just call looking for places that they can get help, simply because they've heard of us or they've heard of another organization that may be helping a lot of times through their churches, and they'll hear about us, and they'll be referred to us, and then we have wonderful people who kind of walk them through the process and make it very easy for them. And we also make sure that we're partnering with our other organizations or other agencies that do that help out in a similar way that we do, to make sure that we meet the needs of the family in a very holistic way.
When you are accessing these families, and I'm assuming most of these are families, what kind of situation do they generally find themselves in? Is this a one-time event? Is this something that they see monthly as the bills come in? And what kind of help are you able to provide?
Well, it depends upon the family, but most of our families, it's a one-time need. It may be something that happens in just a moment or a crisis that happens in their life, and they need one-time help so that because they've gotten behind on their utility bills and they're facing not having them any longer. They're facing shut-off notices. We don't see a lot of people coming back time after time, but these are our families that are hardworking families that do everything that they can to make ends meet. And as we all know, or a lot of families know, when a crisis happens, there's just too much month and not enough money. And sometimes it happens for our families.
And that's where these agencies are here to help.
Yeah. We also see a lot of seniors. As a utility, we're oftentimes the first one that finds out they're having a problem because their utilities is a basic need, just like food and water. And so we will then work with these agencies in referring the customers to them or to 211 at United Way. But we see a lot of families, too, like Tammy mentioned, and also a lot of seniors whose their Social Security check just isn't enough to cover everything.
And then they get behind and can't imagine how they can get out from under. Do they then contact OPPD and say, please, I'm in trouble, what can I do to help?
Yeah, we always recommend to our clients to call us first and see if we can't just work out payment arrangements with you. That's the easiest way of doing it. And sometimes, a lot of times that works just great. But sometimes they might have had a bill that was just a little too large, and so we need to work out some payment arrangements and then also leverage some dollars with the agencies that are dispersing the funds. So it really is sometimes multiple agencies and organizations kind of all working together to get this household back stable again.
Isn't that something that is particularly indicative of the Omaha community that you don't always see in other communities, all these agencies working together for a common good?
Yeah, absolutely. And the idea is to make sure that we're caring for our families and our neighbors in a very holistic way, so that if one program is able to help with utilities and another is able to help them with their food or clothing or one of the other needs that we might identify, it doesn't just stop with utilities. We all work together to make sure that the family's taken care of. Because keep in mind, the majority of the families that we help are not families who are on any type of public assistance at all. Most of our families are hardworking families that do everything that they can to make ends meet, and sometimes they just don't meet for them.
Do you ever run into a situation where somebody may have these issues and may be facing these types of problems, but because of pride or dignity or any other reason, don't come forward? And how do you become aware of these people?
Well, a lot of times they call OPPD or MUD or Black Hills, and that's where it starts. And a lot of times we'll be working with the wonderful people who work there at those at our utility companies, and they will send folks our way. And a lot of times that is what we see. Our families will think that they can make up for it the next month, and then the next month they can't quite get caught up. And then pretty soon they're 3 or 4 months behind, and they're facing a real snowball. And we're there to help them get out of it, and the people in our community are there to help them.
During the economic downturn that started kind of in 2008, and for many of our people still continues today, many folks that I talked to and our call center staff talked to said, I have no idea what to do. I don't know where to turn. I'm not even aware of United Way 211 as that referral source, not sure where to go. And you had to kind of hold their hand walking them through it. And a lot of them did have, they just never had found themselves in the situation. Dignity did enter into it. But when you're in a desperate situation, we encourage people, seek out the resources that are out there. And then someday, you may be helped this time, then someday you can pay it back. And we have seen it time and time again where people will come up and say, you know what, your program helped me one year. And you know what, I want to donate back to yours. And that's what makes our community so great.
Is it also something to do, and maybe this is unique, maybe it isn't, I don't know, the fact that we are talking about a public power utility as opposed to in many other areas of the country where public power is not prevalent, that maybe this attitude doesn't prevail?
I think so. I mean, maybe Tammy should be the one that answers that because I'm probably biased, but I really do believe that's the case because we are owned by ratepayers. We have the ability for our customers to come in and say, hey, we want you to do more. We want you to bring more services to it. We want you to help out those that are in need. And in fact, that's happened at our utility. And part of what my job is to kind of fill that gap, be that advocate internally for our customers that are facing those difficulties. And I'm not sure you necessarily find that in all other utilities or maybe in all other cities. But we are unique. We're the only public power state in the U.S. So,
and we like to think Omaha is unique in so many of these ways.
Yes.
We are talking today about the Heat the Streets Run and Walk for Warmth. It's coming up on the 1st of March. We'll find out more about that in a moment. We're talking with Judy Martin, who is a coordinator of corporate marketing and community relations for the Omaha Public Power District, and Tammy Green, North Omaha Services Director for Heartland Family Service. Tammy, does this involve one area of the community? Is this community-wide? Are the needs different depending upon where in the Omaha metropolitan area you look?
It is actually community-wide. A lot of times we think that it might be very demographically based. And of course, in some demographics or some areas of our community, the need is higher. But we see people throughout the entire greater Omaha area who need help. The needs in urban areas are going to be different than our rural areas, but the need is still out there.
All right, let's talk about the event itself again, back on the 1st of March. I understand that there are prizes.
Yes, Omaha Steaks is one of the sponsors that is providing thousands of dollars worth of all kinds of gift cards. Mm-hmm. We have some other ones that we're in the works on right now, and then there's many other smaller items for drawings for like some of the walkers and the people who registered. So there'll be lots of different prizes, and we continue to work and build on those.
Build on those prizes, yeah. and a lot of that will be available on the website as we get closer to the event itself.
Right, and we're also listing some of that information on our Facebook page. In fact, we were just talking this morning, we've got a bunch of like Funplex gift cards and all that kind of stuff that we're doing through our Facebook page, that if people will share it and go out and register after seeing it, then we have drawings every so often and everything. So a lot of that's just kind of getting put into place and will be out there. So we'd love you to go to our Facebook, Heartland Walk for Warmth.
And
Facebook.
See what is on there.
Mm-hmm,
yeah.
Mm-hmm. And our website.
Is there a target amount you're looking for? Is there a goal you're trying to reach, or is it just as much as you can possibly get?
Well, last year we raised $132,000. And when we started our first year, I think we raised about $30,000. So, of course, we've each year wanted to up our goal. Part of this event is, we have the event, the Walk and the Run on March 1st, but we continue the campaign. And we continue that campaign basically year-round. So if you are not able to walk or run, you're out of town, you can still donate to it. We also encourage folks that weren't able to donate to the event or participate in it, to go to your utility bill and you can do a checkoff, and then you can contribute. Now, those funds aren't necessarily counted in with that $132,000 we raised last year, but that is also another way that you can support the need in our community for utility assistance.
And that way it all contributes to what you're trying to accomplish.
Right.
Again, we want to mention the fact that it is Omaha Public Power District, Metropolitan Utilities District, and Black Hills Energy that are the organizations sponsoring the event. The agencies benefiting from it, can you identify those?
Absolutely. It's, of course, Heartland Family Service, Salvation Army, Together Inc., Family Housing Advisory Services, and United Way 211 also provides utility assistance.
So each of these agencies is involved in the distribution of funds and has programs to meet the needs of the people we're talking about.
Absolutely. And one of the reasons why over the years the need has increased, as Judy had mentioned earlier, the economy has slowly caused some of our families to move from what we would consider middle class into lower income families. A lot of times we call them the working poor. Those are the families that both have jobs, both work full-time jobs, and because of the economy, because of the rising costs, they have really felt the need, or there's been a layoff at work. So we've seen a steady increase in that.
Maybe even folks that have had a medical emergency occur that they couldn't plan or budget for.
Absolutely.
We see a lot of that. Yeah.
So things like that also contribute to these types of situations. I know energy bills in the winter is the time we most think of this, but you had mentioned also, Tammy, that summertime, when it gets unbearably hot, there are considerations as well. So this is a year-round need that you're trying to address. Just talk about the summer situation.
Well, the summer situation is when it gets, for us, as we all know, there are times where it's unbearably hot.
Sure.
And a lot of our homes, especially our older homes, don't have air conditioning in them. And so the agencies or all of the organizations try to rally around making sure that if they have cooling, that we make sure that they're cool. And if not, we get them water and we get them fans to stay cool. But one of the important things is that if we can keep the cool air flowing in their home, then that is the best solution altogether. So.
And that way they can stay in their home rather than have to be taken out and put in a shelter situation.
Absolutely.
And keeping them in their home is always better, I would think.
Oh, absolutely. And a lot of our clients and customers that we see are in older homes that if they've run short on funding to help meet their basic needs, they very likely have not been able to keep up the upkeep on their homes. And we don't want them to have to move because we want them to stay in their homes. And what's really great is, with the utility assistance, a lot of them need additional help with either rent or with their home. And able to leverage the dollars together to help them stabilize it is really, really great for those clients. United Way, in their most recent statistics, showed that 51% of all the calls that come into their resource center, their call center, are for rent and utilities. And all of the other needs below that drop considerably way down. So it's a big need in our community.
Most of us are not in a position to have this kind of need or to have these types of emergency situations come about. We tend to think that, there but for the grace of God, we're not going to be in that situation. You get surprised sometimes, I would imagine, by the types of folks who need the help on a moment's notice.
Right. And put yourself in a situation where you may lose your position or you may lose your job. And you may be able to make ends meet for a week or two, but how many of us would be able to make it last six weeks?
Or 6 months.
Or 6 months before somebody is able to find another job. A lot of our families may have work in construction, hardworking families, but in the wintertime, there's not a lot of need for roofers and people out there working on our streets because it's so cold outside. Those folks also find themselves in that type of a need.
There's a lot of need in the community. One way we meet the need is by raising funds. One way we raise funds is this event on the 1st of March. And let us go back and kind of recap the event itself on the 1st of March. The Heat the Streets Run and Walk for Warmth. For those of us who don't run, obviously, we can participate by walking. The event again, how do people participate? How do people get involved? Where can they find out information and how much?
HeatTheStreetsOmaha.org is the website. You can register to run or walk right on the site. There's contact information should you want to volunteer. And if you wish to just send in a donation but not necessarily walk or run, you can do that right through there too. And so show up at, registration opens up at 7 o'clock on Saturday the 1st. The run starts at 9. The race starts at 9. The walk starts at 9:30. On February 22nd, there is a preview for our diehard runners out there, serious runners. It is a timed race. It is directed by a certified race director. And that's at 2 o'clock on February 22nd at the Turner Park. They'll be meeting up there. And then after the event on Saturday, right after the walk gets over with, there will be the post-event kind of rally and award ceremony right at the theaters right across the street. And for Omahans who worry about parking, there's free parking at Midtown Crossing.
3 hours free.
3 hours free.
Totally regardless.
And they've
of what
been
you're
a
doing.
great sponsor of this event for us.
It's a great location.
It
Now,
is.
This time of year, I have to ask, what happens if we get snow as we've had this past week?
Well, the event will still continue on.
Okay.
Okay, so people in their homes go through the same situation when there's snow and when it's really cold. You know, their power still keeps getting used, and if they don't have the help for their need, they could face this bad weather. So that's one of the reasons why we had this event in the middle of winter, is to bring really awareness to that. So we will still have the event.
Still have the event.
Any kind of questions, I mean, if it was something very serious, go to the website. There will be a way for the event planners to contact everyone.
And the website is heatthestreetomaha.org. And it's street, plural, right. And according to the information I have here, there is also potential for massage.
Yes.
That was very attractive. How does that work?
Well, last year they were there, but they were kind of hidden in the back between the registration tent. We had all these people, and you know how it is when an event, you got walkers and runners and kids and mascots. And they didn't get exposed too well. So we just said we couldn't have that happen. So I'm not sure exactly where they're going to position them this year, but I know that when the event was over with, I went in and I got me a wonderful massage.
And all of the partnering agencies are coming together to be participants in this, just so that we can walk and then have the massage afterwards.
That's the price of admission right there. That makes it all worthwhile. But again, the sponsoring organizations, Omaha Public Power District, Metropolitan Utilities District, Black Hills Energy, Schooler Foundation, Midtown Crossing, and Downtown Omaha Incorporated. Great organizations, everybody coming together, making their contributions to make this event happen. And again, the organizations to benefit from the fundraising will be
Heartland Family Service, Salvation Army, Together Incorporated, Family Housing Advisory Services, and United Way 211.
Very good. You did that right off the top of your head. That's beautiful.
Nice.
Very nicely
They're
done.
good partners.
Now, for anybody who may be listening, we've covered, how to participate in the event. What about somebody listening that may be facing the problems we've discussed, didn't realize that there were options? Where do they go? How do they get in touch? How can they take advantage of the services that you provide?
A simple way to do it is call 211. Dial 211. It's the easiest way for you to get referrals, and they can let you know where to go and route you from there.
And that 211 is 24/7. There's always somebody there to give you the advice you need.
Absolutely.
Yep. And I would just like to add also that if you're struggling with your utility bill, call the utility. Ask to talk to a supervisor and see what kind of payment arrangements you can have, because they will also share with you about calling 211, because we support that, and that's the best way to go.
And you can speak for OPPD. There are people staffed and trained just for this purpose.
Right, to send them to where they need to go to and to work with payment arrangements. So
very good. The event is March 1st. It is a worthwhile event to raise money for a very worthwhile cause in our community. I want to thank you both, Judy Martin, who is Coordinator of Corporate Marketing and Community Relations for the Omaha Public Power District. You've got a big business card with all that down there. And Tammy Green, North Omaha Services Director for Heartland Family Service. Thank you both for your time, and good luck on the 1st of March.
Thank you.
thank you.
This has been INA.
Issues and Answers.
Listen again next time to INA.
Issues and Answers. INA, an NRG media production.